Hello everyone and welcome to the Adventures in the Veil Spacecast. At the Adventures in the Veil Spacecast, we talk about folk, indie, and old school tabletop role-playing games. This season, we're focused on science fiction tabletop role-playing. The following is an actual play of classic Traveler, the original Starfaring tabletop role-playing game by Mark Miller and Games Designer Workshop. So get your vac suit on, get your gun ready, prepare to exit jump space. We've got money to make and worlds to explore, and we hope you'll journey with us on these adventures. Out here on the Imperial Fringe, it's just us veterans of the Fifth Frontier War keeping the space lanes moving. Free traders like us, still willing to evade the pirates, the terrorists, the zealots, criminals. They prey on these war-torn ruins of 100 worlds. They call us travelers. We aren't liked, but we're needed. We use our skills we learned in the service to operate starships and earn a buck. We ain't looking for trouble, but it always finds us. When it does, it'll find us ready. Shipley, what happened last time?
I gotta pull up my notes.
I had to as well. I was
Okay.
like, oh yeah, I need my notes.
So we had a scuffle to spaceport. Some of the people on Astroseed weren't happy that we were relocating the people they didn't like, which I'm not real clear on why, but they weren't happy. So after there was a small disagreement, we headed off to Raleigh with our passengers. But before we left the system, we took a few days to complete a scan sort of for the scout service, thinking we could, make a quick buck. Filling their census, updating their census thing. But this turned out kind of iffy for us because on our way out after the scan, we saw a pirate attack. And the pirates actually fired on us, but they missed, and we were able to make the jump to Debar, so that was a pretty close call. When we got to Debar, we were able to chat with an outgoing free trader and figure out that Debar is basically just a hunting preserve. It's kind of a desert world. It just has one spaceport and one kind of economic value, which is hunting these giant 4,000-pound bears that rich people do as a hobby. So we weren't able to make much on Debar. And we ended up leaving without any new gambling on Raleigh, and we left Debar without taking on any new cargo. Our navigation didn't go quite as smoothly as it usually does, and we ended up on the outskirts of the Raleigh system near a gas giant that has a ton of moons, and it turned out that there were some pirates who were taking advantage of the cover, and they tried to attack us, and we had to call for help. Luckily, there was a scout vessel nearby who fought them off, and we escorted us back into the system. So that was another close call for us. When we got into Raleigh, it's basically a war zone. I think it was described there are explosions going on, barricades, security tearing around everywhere. And when we got into the spaceport, the aid workers we were transporting couldn't find their Imperial contact, which means we can't get paid. So as things stand now, we have to escort them through this war zone to wherever their Imperial contact is so we can get paid for this jump. And that was where we left off.
Yep. Like you said, you got jumped by... Well, first you encountered the scout, just as kind of like a handshake on the way into the system. And you were a ways out, I think, when you came in. So about 2 days or something in, I think then you came under attack and the scout vessel fought off the ship, escorted you to Raleigh. Raleigh, the star system is a binary star system, has 2 dwarf stars, and the world itself is actually in the second the second system, the second star system, and it's the first planet from the sun. It has a far orbit for being a first planet. The rest of the worlds are ice worlds, one of which has a moon. And so you come in, you deorbit into Raleigh, and like you said, Raleigh is a disaster. You can hear gunfire, you can see explosions in the distance, and come in and land at the low port, and you can see that there are the typical Imperial uniforms here with the Imperial Starburst. There's also on the for the staff, which is common for starports. But there's also these armed, maybe security police, military. You're not sure. They're wearing black uniforms and armor, and have assault rifles. And the starport is pretty heavily guarded. After you land and go through customs and disembark, your Red Sun, who are humanitarian aid workers, they have come here to try to make it to the capital, and they are unable to reach their contact on comms or anyone else. In order to get paid, you need to get them to the Parliament House, which is just a measly across a bridge through a river nearby. It is a measly about 4 kilometers away. And this looks like a decaying urban world.
Well, the first thing we do is we need to begin refueling the ship right away. It's a Class E starport, which usually means they don't sell refined fuel. I don't know if that matters in Classic Traveler.
I can check. Let's see here.
But our ship has the ability to refine it as a refinery as part of it. But either way, we need to get that fueled up, and if it isn't refined, we need to start our ship working on that, basically, before we head off, because we want it to be ready to go if we have to come back quickly.
All right. I'll say that it's unrefined fuel, and of course, that also reduces the cost.
Yeah.
All right, so you take the time to allow the fuel processors to churn the fuel and crack it
Well,
and get the hydrogen out.
while we get that going, we also need to ask, I mean, who did she call? How sure is she? You know, who else is there to talk to here? The red sun is important, isn't it? It represents an imperial initiative. Surely there's somebody else on the planet that nearby in a uniform that we might be able to bamboozle into giving us a few armed men to help in this endeavor, or maybe even like an air raft or something.
Yeah, so all of these humanitarian aid workers are wearing that kind of like a smock, is the word I'm looking for, a long black smock. It's got the imperial symbol on it. And the kind of heavyset man, Velez, he is just like, of course we're important. We have an assurance from His Grace in our correspondence that we're essential to the operations here. And then you can see, even as Velez is saying that Isabella, the leader of the group, is kind of looking off to the side, like it's obvious that they came here and now something has either happened or they've been left out to dry. You have to hope that it's probably the first one. Not that that's good.
Well, who here has the best, achieved the highest rank in the Navy or in any Imperial organization? Because it's not me.
I got booted out after one term.
Hey, you and me both.
All right.
I think I did as well, actually. Yeah, one term.
Everyone one term. Shipley, you too?
What?
How many how many terms and what branch was it? Is it Navy or
Oh heck.
Marines
I think it was
or Army? What are the choices? Army.
Army. I'm pretty sure it was Army.
I'm sorry, Captain, but we're just the ones they didn't want it, all right?
Yeah.
We're gonna cut out for it.
All right, well then I'm gonna have to take what's her name? Who, who did she call though? You know?
She tells you our liaison with the ICZ Colonial Authority here. It's her name is Thessalia. But her office, even, we should be able to reach, but we can't.
You can't reach it because no one's answering, or because the comms lines are down.
Essentially the same, Captain. We have contacts for our comms. It's well established. It's true what Velez says, that we did have correspondence over a period of months to prepare for this operation, and now the comms lines are just dead. And actually, let me look at the and even on the local network, we're not. I mean, it shows here that office exists, but no one is answering. We've tried talking to other agencies. We've tried talking to the authorities here, but that they, well, for one thing, they claim that there's some sort of emergency going on. I don't know. Perhaps.
Well, who would know? Because what we're talking about is walking blind into a civil war situation on all around us. We need to know more.
Yeah, they're not sure either, and they're not from this world.
Okay, so they tried. Basically, what she's saying is, when it boils down to it's she tried a phone number and there was no answer.
You know, and then they have like data pads like you do, so they try, you know, different local pages. There's an internet here. They check.
Well, I wanna walk up to somebody who looks important with these black uniforms.
All right, there are two of them, and you know they're masked and they wear black uniforms. They have assault rifles. They give you a typical. The exit
How
from
would
the
I-
starport's that way, citizen.
I'll walk up beside you to try to look tough. Don't worry.
Don't try too hard. I'm not trying to intimidate these guys. We hear there's some trouble, some local trouble.
They laugh. a
Yes.
little local trouble, huh? Where'd you come in from? Are you what are you? Actually, one of them, they stop. They think for a minute. Yeah, actually, for that matter, do you have some paperwork that we can see where you went through customs? Can we see your paperwork?
Sure.
And you
No
went
problem.
through customs, yeah. You paid the berthing fee, right?
No,
So
yes, all above board.
they look at it and they say, "Free trader, huh?"
Indeed. And we came to deliver some passengers, and it seems that the people they were coming to contact cannot be found. Representatives of the Red Sun, as I understand it.
Red Sun? I've never heard of it. Fascinating. You actually are a free trader coming into Kingston. Well, you all certainly have guts. Yeah, we do have, there is a situation going on. It might be best if you honestly just depart the planet for now, if you're a free trader.
We would love to, but sadly we haven't been paid by our passengers yet.
I could see how that would be a problem, but around the ICZ control zone currently, we have in Kingston, there's a disaster nearby. It's in south of the bridge near Parliament. It's quarantined, and then on top of all that, perhaps it's related. The representatives they're attacking a lot of our guard posts and the roads that are leading into Kingston.
Is that what you mean by disaster? Some kind of like rebel attack, or are we talking about a tornado, earthquake?
It looks
Famine.
like well, no, one of our there's a facility, and we don't know the details yet, but there's something there that it's caused the ICZ commander to quarantine the area south of the of Parliament. I don't know what happened, but I mean, makes sense that maybe these rebels are involved. But yes, that's going on, and at the same time, they're attacking roads and intersections and bridges and checkpoints leading into the city, just south of here.
And you say this is near to the capital district?
Yep. He points out a window. The atmosphere here it's breathable, although polluted. And you can actually see the buildings that are clearly mark a capital on the other side of a polluted, nasty river.
I see. And that's just where we've got to get to.
Well, could hire a runner.
Oh, yes?
Do you mean a guide?
There are people that wait down at the bottom of the starport just asking for enough a reason to go into something dangerous so they can get paid. They'll have an air raft.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds scary and exciting.
How much would it be to hire such a person? What do you think?
They claim maybe 50 credits or 100, but just keep this in mind. Verbal agreements are law here on Raleigh.
Understood. All right. Thank you very much for your for all the information, and please stay safe out there.
Captain, there's where you're going to get your air raft. You think you can? Do you think we can trust some runner take us to our destination all in one piece?
I don't know. Hey, my friend. What's your name again?
The guard?
Yeah.
Name's Wayne.
And your friend?
Eric.
What would you say the attitude towards the Imperium is around here?
They kind of look a little, well, at this point they've like, out of courtesy, they're showing their faces, by the way. And they look taken aback by that. Like, I mean, this is an Imperial client world, and His Grace's forces control the capital. I mean, I guess you have those rebels out there. I mean, but this is Imperial territory.
The only reason I ask is that the people we need to get into the capital district are representatives of the Imperial Red Sun.
They
Here
look
on
at each
a-
other confused when you say Red Sun. I don't know what that is.
Well, perhaps she can explain it better herself. I say.
And you're just talking to like two guards, so they're just like, look, I don't know if you need to get into the capital, you could hire a runner, or you could use those. And he points towards your feet.
Yeah. Okay. We'd have to hire more than one, I think. But the point is, if we hire one of these runners, are they going to hate if we tell them we need to go to the capital district? What are they going to say? Is that where they go on a regular basis? Or?
You asked the guards that?
Yeah.
That where? Can you rephrase that? I'm gonna turn you up.
Is the capital district just a normal place for them to go, or they're
Yeah, I mean from here, that's why the low port. That's part of why it was built here.
well, good enough.
By the way, when you went through customs, the law level here is law level 4. So I know that some of you all procured some assault rifles. So those would be prohibited here, but any other guns or knives you could carry. And armor.
Yep. Oh, it's cutlass and revolver time. But as we walk away, I'll speak to the group here, and well, hiring one of these runners or two might be the necessary thing. We have a lot of people to carry here.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Well, the question is also, how many of you are armed? I say to the humanitarians.
They look at you just shocked, like, we're not trained soldiers. We don't know how to use weapons. And at this, you can see that there is a different armed group that is just went through customs. A very well-dressed young man. And there are a group of 6 armed people flanking this well-dressed young man. The dress of these other armed people, who, by the way, carry assault rifles, are different. They're not the typical black dress that you see in the guards. But you can see that there's also a crowd of them around as well. Like, and they've kind of gathered a crowd. It looks like they're doing whatever, it looks like they couldn't, for whatever reason, land at a private starport. But this is some big to-do. And they had to actually go through the commercial starport as well.
Let's step in and let's see who that is. Let's get a little closer.
Does he look like a well-heeled corporate type, or maybe a noble?
He does look like a noble.
Not a celebrity, but actually a noble.
Yeah, no, this looks like this does look like somebody who, I mean, it looks as if the guards that are closest to them are wearing livery indicating their house.
Okay, so
Do we know what the house is at a glance?
I would say anybody with a social of 10 or above would know.
that's
I
nobody.
think our highest social is 9, right?
I think it's 8.
Man, we need some class.
Yeah.
It's all right. We can be rubberneckers like everyone else.
At this point,
We're friends with at least one noble, by the way. Which news of our exploits should have reached this far by now.
That feels very optimistic.
you hear
Oh,
gunfire.
shoot.
I bet they've got a lot on their
Oh,
hands.
no. Oh, God.
I'm getting down.
Yeah.
Or a team cover, yeah.
Everyone starts to scream inside of the starport as it looks like there's a group of people that are starting to attack this other group. They've broken in, and a gun battle has erupted. You see some of the guards in black just like drop as they're filled full of lead, as automatic fire starts to crisscross across the starport, sometimes cutting down even civilians that are even still trying to have just made it through customs on the other side into the arrival area. And yeah, what do you all do?
Who? First of all,
I'm taking
get
cover.
cover.
Everybody takes cover.
Yeah.
Okay.
And second,
You find full cover. Like you find places where you're like have full cover.
and second, who is this group that's attacking? Are they attacking the nobles' guards, or
Yes.
just the guys in black? Okay, so, and the guys in black, are they basically on the same side as the nobles? So it's
Yeah.
so then, what do the people who are attacking look like?
It looks like there's somewhere between a half or full dozen attackers. They're dressed in like they have coverings for their face, things like balaclavas and stuff, to just try to cover their face and hands and things. But they're just wearing cloth. Some of them have cloth armor, like what you guys have with the, like where it's like Kevlar, and then they have assault rifles, and it looks like some jury room.
They have assault rifles.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think the plan. I mean, I'm feeling brave, but I'm not going to tell anybody else to feel brave. I say, and then I would like to make a plan to grab cover and wait for one of the bad guys to get near me.
All right. Let me see if I can plop you guys down here so it's easier to see. Maybe.
I want to try to get the drop on one of these guys. You say there's a dozen of them, so that means they must have a flank.
Goodness, that's a big token. I just need a different page.
I'm gonna unsling my shotgun.
Yeah.
Get it ready.
Sorry to ask again, but were auto pistols banned here as well?
No, I don't think. Well, if it's a submachine gun, yes. I think automatic weapons. Let's see, it says light assault
Okay.
weapons, so I'll consider that like things like automatic.
Atlas,
weapons.
you got it.
Goodness, these tokens show up big on this. Goodness gracious. Okay, and then you got Lothak here.
Yeah, I always forget about Lothar.
And then we got some guards, which I'm just gonna make a bunch of. And here's a noble. And then let's get a terrorist from a certain point of view, I suppose. Here we go.
Well, they're the ones in balaclavas. Versus the ones in face masks.
2, 3, 4, 5. Goodness gracious. This is one painful thing about Foundry, is trying to like put in tokens and change their sizes real quick. Roll20 is way better at that. Okay, so this is about it right here. Now, you can easily find things nearby, like pillars. You're saying that you wanted to take cover. There's like typical, pillars around nearby. There are low walls as well. Now these people are out just in the open, unfortunately. And here's like the literal baggage carousel. and then there's like a wall here, and then this separates a business nearby, and then there's like a hallway. Okay.
Which one is the noble?
This one right here.
Oh, okay. Right, the well-dressed young man.
Yes. All right. So, yeah, you said you wait till one comes by and you're going to try to shoot him in class?
Well, okay. Who doesn't have a gun?
I have a
I do
rifle.
not have a. I don't have a gun I can use.
Okay.
I have
will-
a sword. I'm gonna probably just try to take care of Lothak.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Then I will blast one as he passes by.
All right. You could do that.
I would like to. I am a bit of a coward. I would like to wait for him to engage, not notice me, and start engaging with the guards.
You could do that. Lothak is going to like run and grab the humanitarian aid workers and like get them behind cover. All right, so
I forgot about them entirely.
so for surprise, the way surprise works is you have to roll 3 higher than your opponent on a d6. And this will count for the group. That doesn't mean that you can't act. This means that you'll get surprise if you can get a 6. So go ahead and roll a d6 for Bellamy. Oof. Okay. So neither side is surprised, at least, but that you're still the aggressor, so you can still just simply act. So you can go ahead and attack if you want.
So yeah, well that's what I do.
I'll give you some dice modifiers here. They are in. What weapon are you using?
Revolver.
A revolver. Okay, let me look. Revolver. It's at a -3 DM, and then let's see what else you got. If you have your dex bonus for using a revolver, you have that. You have a 9+ in dex.
I do.
Alright, so that brings it to a -2. You're at short range, brings it to a -1. And then I think it's going to be a 9 to hit. And it has to do with his armor.
Okay. I do have the revolver skill also.
Oh, okay, let's make it an 8.
All right.
Dang it.
Dang it.
Okay. You can also move on your turn. Where'd you go?
Well,
There you are.
into cover, I guess. You
All
said
right.
it's a pillar.
Yeah, it's a stone pillar. Yeah. All right, and then meanwhile, let's see, Shipley, what do you do?
Let's see. Sorry, I lost my mic. Where are the aid workers in Lothak?
They're
I see
behind this.
they're back here.
Yeah, this is like a thing
Okay.
that's like a little decorative, like little fake green space thing, and it has a little thing that's about 2.5 feet tall, and she has like grabbed them and brought them behind it and got them down below behind it here.
Okay. Let's see. I'm also taking care of behind the pillar, and I want to wait for the aggressors to get closer before I do anything. I don't want to unnecessarily draw attention to myself until they're like right on top of us, basically.
Okay.
Right now, it looks like they're targeting the nobles and the noble guards, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would rather not get involved. I think we will have to at some point, but I'd rather try and get the element of surprise or wait.
Okay. I think the element of surprise is lost because Klaus fired. So there's a group over here who are probably going to shift fire and start firing towards you all. The rest seem intent
well, in that
on
case,
trying to take on these guards and take out that noble.
Okay, well in that case, I'll try and hit this guy. I don't know if you can see what I'm clicking on.
All right. What weapon are you using?
Yeah. I have a rifle.
Okay, rifle versus, let's see, we've got rifle versus cloth is -3, it's -2 in range.
I have a question if I might be able to help this.
Yeah.
Long ago, when we were up hiking a volcano, we bought fishing supplies, and I had a net, like a big fishing net.
Nice. Yes.
Okay.
How far could I
No.
throw that, do you think? If I give it like a good old toss, like I'm casting it out to catch my fish.
You can disable one of these for a round reliably, but the price will be... Actually, that's a good plan. So going there, that will work.
Yeah, I want to move up and cast my net on just the nearest guy to try to help Shipley out with shooting somebody more reliably.
Okay, you do that. Shipley, you can hit on a 6.
Okay.
You hit.
Oh,
and
wow.
Roll for damage.
Okay. Let's see. I have a rifle. What damage is that? Just 2d6?
Yeah, rifle does 3 die damage. 3 dice.
Okay.
3 dice. Nice. You immediately knock him unconscious, and he is severely wounded.
They never see it coming.
Net.
The fishing net in an urban city.
I have to invest in more of those.
He just like lays there bleeding out and underneath that net now. All right, let's see. Meanwhile, Marcello, what are you doing?
Marcello's going to scuttle behind cover over here. And he's got an eye on the noble.
Okay.
And from that position, he'll try to defend the noble if these baddies break through. But in the meantime, I think he's going to take aim with a shotgun at this dude here. I don't know if you can see that.
It didn't ping, but this one right here?
That's it, yeah.
All right, yeah.
And, yeah, take a shot. Marcello's got shotgun skill.
Shotgun, okay, and then range, so 2, and then it says shotgun against cloth is -3, so far it's -1, so it would be a 9.
You know, he's also got a dexterity of only 5, so he's got another -1 there.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would be a 10, yeah, a shotgun.
Okay, great. So 2D? 2D?
Yes, 2D to get 10, yep.
Yeah.
Dang it, okay.
Yeah.
All right, you do get his attention, which shifts the fire off of them, and then, let's see. Your friends, by the way, got hewed down, of note, the black-clad guards, but these are like these noble guards, like house guards of this noble. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're aggressors, so they're going to get to attack first.
Oh. There's some damage done there.
All right, 1, 2 hits. To 66. 24 damage. This noble is slain.
No way.
Oh, wow.
And then they unless you stop them or intervene, they do a fighting withdrawal as they, some of them take cover, and then others run behind them, and then they take cover, and so on and so forth as they exit the starport, making downstairs for some of the grav cars that have swerved up. It seems like they have also caused some sort of havoc at a nearby security checkpoint at the exit from the starport.
Are you saying that these grav cars are security that come in, or are they?
Somehow they, yeah, they have, as part of this plan, they have prevented security from coming in, and they have a grav car down below. You can see that they're exiting to it to try to make their escape. What do you all do?
Well, we can't. What are the guards doing? What are the nobles' guards doing?
Firing. And attending to their clearly dead charge.
I think we'd probably better stay here.
Yeah,
We have
do need
line
to
of
get
sight
this
on-
one.
I mean, you know,
Can
we'll
we-
take
can we
another
get-
shot, I guess. But I don't see the need in pursuing. We can
Can we
maybe
get
take
the
another
line-
shot and make it look good.
Marcello, what were you saying?
I'm sorry, yeah, can we get a line of sight on that grab car?
Yeah, you can see that outside, beyond the arrival area, that there's a grav car that it looks like they're fleeing to.
Can anyone take a shot at it? Is it the kind of thing that light weapons like we have, we really have no chance of disabling it?
I'll say that you have a very small chance,
Yeah.
but you could try.
I bet it's not even worth it. The
I mean-
shotgun shells.
Well, let's let the riflemen give it a shot.
All right.
Shipley.
Yeah.
And I will take another shot if I'm, at one of the fleeing people, if there's not too many civilians in the way.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take a shot too.
Okay.
Him in the back.
Okay, so who is shooting at these fighting positions that are giving covering fire to their friends that are going into the grab car?
I am.
All right, I think you have a 9 to hit, if I recall correctly. Whatever I said before.
It was actually 8,
8.
last time I
Sounds
rolled.
good. And then Books, I think we missed. Books, you can take 2 turns. We didn't get to you, I don't think, right?
No, I thought you were just doing the soldiers first.
I think it just all happened
That's
really
why I
fast.
didn't say anything.
It all happened really fast, and they
Yeah.
took out the noble. But take 2 turns this time. What do you want to try to do? I see that you.
So I'm going to use a carbine, and I'm going to, I guess, take a shot at the vehicle.
All right, you'll hit one of its systems if you get a 12, which will disable
Okay.
the system. So it's a long shot, but I'm gonna say it's possible. And you got a second turn too if you want to try to do it a second time. This is like trying to shoot a vehicle as it's flying off, obviously. All right. Meanwhile, I see Bellamy that you hit. Which one are you targeting? This one right here?
Yeah, I don't know where the damage is for my revolver. I think it was 3d6, but I could be.
A revolver does 3d6. All right, you do 8 damage, which is enough to knock him unconscious. And let's see. Meanwhile, anybody else want to try to shoot the car? Is it Shipley? Are you going to try to knock it out?
Yes, I'll give it a shot.
All right. Yeah, you get a 12. You'll disable one of its systems.
Okay.
Oof.
I do not.
All right. And then lastly, Marcello, I think you were going to shoot one of these people, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the. I think it's 9+. Nope.
All right. Now, and the reason why it's so hard to hit them is they have armor, so like that's why it's tough. But the meanwhile, these guards, they're also going to get a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This happened before. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think they all miss. Yeah. So, the rest flee. Two of them are unconscious. The rest flee the scene. And the starport, you can see finally, this all happens very quickly. And the starport just like gets flooded with security guards right afterwards. Like they respond within a few minutes, and they all come in and stuff, and they tell you to lower your weapons. You know, as soon as they come
Oh,
in.
it's holstered right away. As soon as
Yeah.
the action's over, hands
Mhm.
hands are up, off of any weaponry.
They
Yes, absolutely.
they
I
drag
mean, I'm
this.
We don't want
reaching
any
over
weapons
for the
to
net.
this.
I'm
Yeah. Holster your net, sir.
I will back away from the netted body without retrieving it as soon as they show up.
My net, man. Come on. Let me get my net.
All right, you get
It's a
your
good
net.
net, man.
You pull. It's stained with blood from this person, but you roll them out of it, and they're moaning, you know, unconscious, bleeding out. A bunch of them come over, and some of the security guards they start tending to the wounded attackers. Some of them come over, and they're talking to the guards over the dead body of the noble. They form a cordon in the area for the public, and they essentially shut down the starport, like as far as entrance. So you can imagine that local traffic coming into land is probably being diverted at this point. And two of them come over, and the first people they see are they come up over the dead bodies of these people. They check them; they're dead. They see Perseus and Shipley, and they say, who are you? What are you part of the? Are you part of? Are you part of Marquis Damson's entourage? Where you want to? You look perhaps like his ship's crew.
Oh,
What are you?
we're
No,
humanitarians.
I'm afraid not. We're here escorting some humanitarians from an Imperial aid worker agency.
At this
And we had just happened to arrive at the same time and got caught up in firefight.
And at this point, Lothak pops up with these poor people here in their smocks, and you know their black smocks with the imperial sun on it, and comes over. They're terrified and shaken. Some of them are crying and everything, and they say, "Humanitarian aid, eh? Well, looks like you showed up the wrong place at the wrong time."
Couldn't agree more. Unfortunately, we haven't been paid yet.
Oh, a traveler, I see. He looks at you, sees your cyberware on you. Kind of gives like a scowl.
Avoid eye contact. I don't want to I kind of want to distance myself from that. Like, oh, come on.
Yeah, I guess I'm sorry. I didn't. I guess I walked up if I saw them talking to y'all, but
Yeah. So they look at you all and they say, "Look, travelers, it may be best if you simply just get back on your ship. I'm not sure, but the south side of the city has a quarantine going on. We can't keep you from exiting the starport if you still want that payday." And to this, Isabella says, "Please help us. It's clear we're not going to get to safety on our own here. We can't afford passage back. We can get you paid if we can just get to the colonial authorities office. But just don't leave us here like this."
no, I don't suppose we will. And who am I speaking to? Sergeant, Captain, Lieutenant?
You mean the? Well, you're not speaking to them. Shipley and
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. And Perseus were. This Isabella, the leader of the aid workers, comes up and she's basically appealing to you not to just abandon them in this situation. But
Well, I mean, I beckon for our captain to join us, and I'll say, I stand firm. I think the right thing to do is to secure our payday. So this is clearly where we're needed.
Hand in hand.
all right.
But yeah, who is? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Marcello, Marcello was skulking in the background, and he was just chatting up some of the soldiers. And he just straight up asks, was that a political assassination? Who was that noble?
That
And
was
who is that crew that came in and killed him?
that was clearly a political assassination. They came to assassinate Marquis Damson. He's a friend of His Grace Sir Bledden Hewlin, the subsector baron, and they had we had established a security cordon. There must be some like an insider. That's the only possibility. But look, none of this is your business, traveler. You shouldn't, even for your own safety, I would suggest not getting involved in this. And whatever you do, no matter what they pay, I wouldn't get involved with the Golan.
Golan. What do you mean what's the Golan?
Bunch of arms dealers, companies. It's a free market city outside of the control zone. They play both sides, and they make a profit off of it. And he looks at you. Just the sort of thing a traveler might be here to do. I'm sure there might be a profit to be made there, but also a swift death, if you ask me.
He sounds like he's trying to talk us into it.
Yeah, I just look at him and smile. All right. No, I think we were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. We're here just to escort our passengers to their destination. We are not taking sides. And yeah, glad none of us were hurt. All I can say. So,
I'm glad you're safe too, traveler, but be careful. And like I said, I would be careful about what business you get involved in around here.
sure, for sure. I heard that there were some people, what were they called? Snakes or guides, or I can't remember what they're called. People who will take you into the
Runners.
city for a fee. What was that?
Runner.
Runners.
Yeah, the
Runners, yeah.
if you have to get
Yeah,
around right now
are
during a quarantine, the only
those
way to do it is with a runner.
okay. Those aren't affiliate those aren't part of the goal line, are they? Are they just independent operators?
Most of them are independent. Some of the businesses that had and guilds that had operated the runners have fallen apart, so now they just keep their air rafts scrapped together. Even
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, and I hope you have a better one.
he looks over at his dead friends. Yeah, I hope I do too.
I'm gonna rejoin the crew.
Wonder if there's
Yeah,
a
so where are
wonder
we?
if there's a bounty on those guys. I mean, we're the
Always
only
looking to the next job.
well, we're the
That would
only
be
people.
handy.
We're the only people who hit any of these guys.
Hey, that's right.
Yeah, I even caught one.
Yeah. I walk up to that same guy and I say, "Is it what is it, Sergeant, Lieutenant, Captain?"
You say that in character. He looks
Yeah,
at you
yeah,
and
yeah,
just like, yes, traveler. What do you need?
Well, I need to know. I guess I want to know. I would like to know. Is there a bounty on those two?
You want to get paid.
Well, I noted that we brought two of them down. That was my crew that did that. I assume that's valuable to you, is it not? In some way or other.
You can make a social check under your social. You want to roll under your social.
Yeah, I see.
You'll get a big payout if this works. To me, it seems like a little bit of a long shot.
It is. It might be a long shot. I'm just wondering if it's valuable. But anyway, that is not under my social.
Yeah, it's not perhaps that it wouldn't be, but his friends just got killed, and there was just like a firefight, and now you're asking to get paid. And he looks at you and he's like, "I think it's best that you move along."
You know how, like, in
So be
Times
it.
Square, there'll be guys wearing costumes and they go up to you to get a picture, but then they demand money from you because you're
Yeah,
a tourist?
I've
We're
had
like
that.
hanging around at a battlefield and we're just like waiting until terrorists show up and we kill them, and then we go and ask for money.
For the terrorists we just killed. Ah, fair enough. As I reload the 2 spent rounds.
This is not judgment. I'm making a proposition. This could be like we could milk this.
Well, I mean, we did just risk our lives. We didn't have to get involved. But anyway,
Um, I
we
think
might
we're
as
gonna try that. Getting a runner maybe,
yeah.
and
I don't
being
see what
real
other
precautious.
I don't see what other option we have really.
All right. Um, okay, so downstairs, past the arrival area, it's mostly vacant. It's nighttime now, local time. But there is one person here. Now, when they say that these runners have an air raft, what they mean is like a chassis that's got a, you know, a little gravimetric drive strapped onto it. Makes the thing go. But it's just open air chassis. Like, just imagine that, like, none of the paneling or covering of a car is there, just the frame. And this thing looks gnarly, but you could all ride on it. You can even see where he's been kind enough to put some straps on it. You can either hold onto or strap yourself onto the frame of this thing if you want to risk that. And he looks a little drunk. He's like, "Are you gonna go into town? Whoa, did you see that?
Yeah, we
Wow.
saw it.
People just ran in there and started shooting. Man, I gotta get off this planet."
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you a spacer?
I can be.
Yeah, where you been?
Well, let's see. Been here in Kingston, a few districts here. I've been over to, I went to Golan once. Been out into the wastes. I got a cousin out there, and he names off a few places here on the planet.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting. Well,
there's a lot of space between those.
yeah, more power to you, buddy. Hey, are you the only one working in here today, or?
He looks, and it's got one of those lines where stuff would line up like a cab line, and yeah, he's the only one here.
How much to get to the capital district?
Oh well, yeah. See, there's some fees tonight, right? Because it's real dangerous. There's a quarantine, so it'd be the regular fee. He thinks about it. He's like, and then there's the quarantine fee, security fee, accidental death and dismemberment. That'll have to get covered.
Well, while he's talking, I lean over to the group and sort of stage whisper, like not stage whisper, but whisper so they can hear me. Hey, who here can drive an air raft?
I did
Drive an
almost
aircraft
pick it.
well, or drive an aircraft, period.
Just drive an air raft. That's all. Just have a skill.
I was very close to picking that, but I chose vac suit instead for my piloting skill. Or
I
grav
have
belt, I
vehicle
mean.
one. Is that aircraft?
What's that? Shipley's got it. You said?
I have vehicle one. Would that be a skill I would need for an aircraft?
I think most people that picked vehicle one picked a grav belt, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Or we
You have
didn't
to
pick.
assign it to a type of vehicle, and you might have just left it unassigned so far.
But if you didn't assign it, I'm down with if you wanted
How
to pick
convenient.
aircraft. Yeah, it's I'm going with that. I don't. It says if it just says vehicle 1, then yeah, you can, because you have to pick. Yeah, that's what we did. We didn't pick the vehicle, so yeah, you could pick aircraft 1. I think there was something about an aircraft can be used as a general skill. There's like this category of 0 skill things, and that might have been why I didn't pick it. And then there's like other ones like grav car and stuff. But hey, let's just pick that for now and say that you could drive this thing.
Perfect.
Okay, so then I look at the guy, I interrupt him, I say, how about the let the passenger pilot the air raft fee?
He looks at it and he's like, "Oh, you want to rent? Oh, that's going to be more expensive for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are we
And
talking?
this is how I make my money, you know. So like,
Yeah, exactly. So what's the fee?
you know, I think about what they're doing over there at the used air raft lot, and if I think about what they rent those things for nowadays, I'm thinking it's going to be at least 5,000 credits."
I look at Marcello and and the rest and sort of turn away and walk off like I'm thinking about it and say and give him the you take a crack at this guy look, because this is not what I'm good at.
All right.
Shipley.
But of course, otherwise not to take it out of your hands. You know your own vehicle best, and you're gonna, not want it to rent it out and everything. If you were behind the wheel, what kind of rate would you normally give?
Yeah, no. If I were driving, I would say very premium product I'm offering today with this. He smells like body odor and alcohol in his breath. But there's nobody else here except for like the smears in the ground where a grav car swung in full of militants and just poured out into the starport recently. And he's like, I would say to, where are you trying to go there? I guess big question.
Were you trying to get to the capital, I think?
Capital District, I say over my shoulder.
Oh, trying to get the old Parliament place. Okay, yeah, you got some work there. He looks at you. You know that you're clearly travelers. Pieces of body armor and vac suits and weapons and gear on your face and stuff. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I'm sure you got important work there. And he looks over and he can see Lothak kind of marshaling all those aid workers as well. Oh, got some passengers too. I think it's probably going to be about 1,500 credits if I drive.
Fair
Did
enough.
you say the other rate was 5,000 if we rent it?
Yeah.
I whisper in your ear, we can always shove him aside if it gets bad.
I say, and don't worry, we can keep you safe as well. Gesturing at some of my friends' firearms, folding up my net.
That's good. That's good. That's
we give a pretty generous rate for that ourselves.
all right. He trips over a little bit and he's like, "So wait, who's driving?"
Maybe
You're
not
driving.
him.
Me.
You're driving.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let me help you with that. He takes like some of the stuff from the aid workers and just like tosses it back into like a bin that's strapped to the back of the thing.
I'm gonna whisper over to Shipley, go ahead and start her up. As soon as he gets on, just take off.
He the great thing is you do that, and he shortly thereafter crawls into and falls asleep anyways. So
Perfect.
that works out.
Perfect.
And
I had a feeling he wouldn't mind.
all right, let's see how this trip goes. Oh boy.
And who's the driver? Who's the guy with the skill? Is it Chapman?
Shipley, I think.
Shipley, yeah.
Oh, Shipley's the one with grav car? Vehicle grav car?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I only do spaceships. Air rafts are like way over my head.
So you start
Not
traveling.
enough buttons.
Shipley.
I'll try to kind of draw what's going on here because this is all in a fairly small area, so you can kind of see this. I wish I could make the background kind of fade out a little bit. I don't think I can though. Oh, I can darken it? That just makes the lights brighter. Okay, well, I'll try. I'm going to just make it bright red here. And so, let's see here. This is what you kind of have going on. You have the starport. Over here. And then you have like a large river that that separates the starport, and then you've got several major bridges. They mentioned that the southern area is quarantined and that there's fighting going on to the southeast. And this is mostly ruined green space or wild space that you see through here. It looks like that must have in the past been like arts districts or parks or something, but it has since fallen into disrepair, and it has a urban ruin kind of look to it. And then the Parliament area has like multiple circles like this, with walls and buildings, and the buildings have like this like kind of oblong kind of shape to them. And all the major buildings you can see are in the inner circles of that area. This whole area is about 5 kilometers across. So let me put you here, the crew. Goodness.
I thought you said the
Oh, go
the
ahead.
building they need to get to was 4 kilometers.
Yeah, like this whole area, through here. But yeah, to just get there, yeah, it might be like 4 kilometers. Let me.
Okay. I'm just trying to get a better feel for the area.
All these little scenes, I've made the maps so tiny. Let me also make sure there's no grid. Okay, there is no grid. Never and never. Okay, so here you all are. Let me also give you light so that it there we go. All right, so you get just shy of the bridge and you run into your first problem. It's been about 3 hours into the night, by the way. It's probably about 9 p.m. local time, 2100 local time. The bridge is covered in people and it's packed. And there are people just covering the streets, and it's making the this setup. I should have said something like grav car. I think I'm using the wrong term because I think an air
I was
raft.
just gonna say, air raft can fly over all.
Yeah,
that
you just
stuff.
fly. Yeah, exactly. So
Oh,
this is
okay.
This is a car, is what I'm trying to like.
Oh, all right. Well, that's.
Oh, that changes it because I was imagining the scene in Blade Runner 2049 where
Right,
you know the guy's
or
in
the
his
Fifth
his
Element, which I
dinner,
agree.
and he's
All right.
okay.
But-
Grav car, got it.
Sorry, yeah.
I mean,
I meant to
grav car,
suggest
yeah.
this is like but it's not a land car, I think, which is another thing, which is to say it has wheels. This one floats, but it doesn't fly. And maybe it's a technical limitation on it. Shipley, you can still drive it, don't worry. But nonetheless, you are still terrestrially, you're ground bound here. And you are surrounded by people, just swarms of people. And you realize that perhaps the fighting and things have driven them out from these districts down to the south, and a bunch of them are squatting along on the bridge, and then there's crowds on the bridge, and it's making it very hard to move, and so it all drags down to a slow crawl.
I'm gonna see if Isabella, is that her name?
Yeah,
Maybe now is the time for her to work some of her Red Crescent or whatever, not the Red Sun.
I want to say the Red Star, but that is also a real world organization, so I didn't say Red Star. So Red Sun
Red
it is.
Sun.
Which sounds like a
Magic
terrorist
there.
organization or a cabal or something. Too.
Kind of, but yeah.
I just can't win on that one. I don't know.
But let's see if she can help us, get through.
She thinks for a moment.
Yeah. She's got 10 people who are here to do good, right? So maybe they can like organize the folks in orderly sections along the sides so that traffic can get through and everybody's a little more orderly. Just try to.
She thinks and she says, I think I could clear the bridge, but... She turns to Velez. I know you're not going to like this, Velez. And Velez looks back at Isabella and he's like, absolutely not, Isabella. You can't do this. And she's like, the captain's right. It's time that we start taking risks and start trying to understand the situation. Office or no, liaison or no, the blessing of his grace or no, it's time to try to help these people. Is anyone willing to volunteer? And she looks to her companions. All of them are willing to volunteer. And she's like, very well. Velez, you're in charge now. Get them to the capital. Get the captain paid. And she's like, please let us off here. We'll make an announcement using our device. And we'll try to start gathering information and organizing everyone. And we may be making some promises we can't keep.
This is ideal.
I love doing that.
You want to be real careful. You want to be real careful about that. Remember what that guy said at the spaceport?
Well,
Your word is contract here, and I guess if you break it, there could be major consequences.
Marcello, she strikes me as the kind of lady that knows what she's talking about.
Okay, Captain.
Well, I wonder what she's about to do, but I bet she's more than she seems.
She asks Shipley, please, if you could stop the car. And she gets out, takes some of her luggage.
Gingerly ease it to a halt.
And she gets on one side of the bridge, and she makes an announcement, and she says, people of Kingston, this is we're members of the Red Sun, and we would like to collect your information and try to begin disseminating aid from His grace, so that we can help you. Please, if you could come to us in an orderly fashion, we'll gather your information. We'll begin to try to help you as best we can. It's absurd, but she's trying to gather information and go ahead and start her work, literally on the ground, on foot, with the people here on the bridge. And with 3 people. And she gets swarmed. But it does clear the bridge for you.
Okay. Well, Velez. Brave lady, that Isabella.
Yes, she is. He has a look like he'll probably never see his friend again.
All right, well, let's make our best speed then. Shall we, Shipley? Step on it.
I'll step on it carefully because I'm worried that the car is going to fall apart.
Step on it carefully.
Alright, one more roll. Oh boy.
Come on.
Alright. So, you make it into the Capital District. You can see the buildings. You can see security checkpoints here. This area is very well guarded. On the near side of the security checkpoints, where, hopefully you get there before any other chaos occurs. You hear gunshots in the distance every once in a while. It kind of like lights up, and the ground kind of like you can feel a percussive move in the ground nearby. And you can see as you cross the bridge and in this area there are these shanty checkpoints with to look up, see if they have like a symbol. They probably do. You see these shanties set up with like figures in dark robes, and they are already like, there are lines where they are organizing people to have places to sleep. There are places where people are getting first like medical care. There are places where people are getting food, and Velez is like, what on earth is this? Someone is imitating our organization. And you can see that there are like symbols, flags, sometimes crudely painted, sometimes like on a flag that's like just like what do you call it, tacked up, and it has something similar to the Imperial sunburst, but the sun is a dark orange.
Do we recognize what it means in that color?
I don't think any of you would know what this is.
Does Valez?
They don't seem to know either, but he's outraged. He's like, someone is counterfeiting our operation.
Look
How
here.
unconscious is the taxi driver?
Yeah, he's he's kind of like in and out. You could wake him up if you wanted.
Yeah, I'll like go up and ask him about the orange sun people.
He wakes up. He's like,
Kind of shake him awake.
Those are those religious fanatics, a bunch of crazy religious people. But they try to help people here. So I guess that's good.
Are they local?
No, they're from off-world. Some religious group came in preaching the great stellar divine and some bullcrap like that. And anyways, they started helping people out. So I guess I don't know. Maybe they're all right.
And are they nice people?
They seem like it to me.
Nobody bothers them?
No, yeah, people bother them. They sometimes get strewn up by some of the local gangs. You can see them on the river. You take a look in the daytime.
So they are not armed then?
No, I don't think they're armed.
All right, my friend. So, fellas, it might be good to walk softly here. We don't know what we're walking into.
As you approach the security checkpoints, the last thing you see is, even at night, there's a firebrand preacher on one of the corners, and he's belting out, stuff about, he's like, you are all beings of beauty, of transcendental power. If you could only understand the will of Raleigh itself. Live and love Raleigh. Love this world and its star. It will give you everything that you need. And everything will return to harmony. And that is the purpose of life. Live a good life and bring Raleigh back into harmony. And the star will provide you everything. And this stuff like this. This is belting out, as you approach the checkpoint.
Does that, okay, strange question, but does that type of rhetoric sound like any other thing that we would have heard before?
Absolutely
in some
not.
other
No.
Okay.
I
so
mean,
it's-
I guess it's possible, but I'm gonna say no, like, cause you kind of made this exodus from the core, still on the fringe, but you came out here, and this is like a religious group that is out here in the Spinward Marches,
Well,
on the fringe of the Spinward Marches.
and this guy preaching, he's got these robes.
Yeah, dark robes, star on it, a dark orange star.
Let's what do you say we go to the checkpoint and bypass the crazy guy?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right.
What's that?
All right, you do that. You make it to the checkpoint, and they ask to see your information. But if you show it to them, also, Velez shows them, information that like the official papers from the Duke, from Sir Adoshki of Iterati, and and you're welcomed into this secure area, like this kind of green zone where it's secure, and it's dark. Everything's closed, and Velez, once you get in here, he's like, "Now, to be honest, I'm not exactly sure what to do now."
Well, we have to find out what happened to this liaison.
Yes, well, perhaps we should find a place to rest for the evening. It's quite an eventful night, if I do say so.
I would have to agree.
Yep.
You take
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Yeah. Go ahead.
You have to drive around for about another hour. So let's see how that goes. Whoops. Dropped it, so that we'll do it again. All right. You do so uneventfully. You can see that like the typical kinds of things that would be open at night are. So like some hospital services and bars and things like that. And thankfully you do find a hotel. It is expensive to stay here. 100
That
credits.
sounds like a Valdez problem.
It could be. Yeah. Do you
All
tell
business
him?
problem.
What do you?
Yeah.
Do you tell him you want reimbursed?
Yeah, I tell him that since we're doing work above and beyond our original contract, that he needs to handle our expenses, and there may be an extra fee for the danger that we were put in escorting them through the city.
He's actually I can't think of the word for it, but he agrees profusely. He's like, yes, you are right. After everything that you all have been through, we are incredibly grateful. You are worthy of your pay, and we will do everything we can to secure additional funds for what you've done for us.
And the whole time he's talking, I'm standing right behind him, like fist pumping and mouthing, "Go Shipley, you go," and just like
Exactly.
static. I'm like, this is the kind of self-starting that I like to see from my crew right here. Perfect.
All right, so you stay at what is a fairly nice hotel, and you wake up the next day, and it is sunrise outside, and you can still hear some faint gunshots off in the distance, echoing in the sun and the sunrise. This place has 2 suns. One is off in the distance, though. Yeah, quite a ways away, but it would still be kind of. All right, so you probably have like a major twilight and then a minor twilight. So this like little minor sun kind of rises off in the distance after the sun rises, and checking, and there's no moon. Okay, so the air is nasty now that you can see it in the day. It's just the place is polluted and gross. The river is really disgusting. But everything is open, and he comes down into the hotel lobby and he says, I think it best that we go directly to the Colonial Authority's governing office and get to the heart of the matter.
I can't think of an objection.
What about breakfast?
Yep, you guys have breakfast. That's 10 credits.
Most important meal of the day. Glad that these
Absolutely.
humanitarians are willing to pay for it.
And in fact, actually, they will cover even out of pocket, out of like the spare credits that they have on their persons. They'll cover the hotel and the food, and then, hopefully we'll cover more. Let's see here. So you go to a government office, and let's do a check on the way there. And you get to the government office, and it has a similar problem, where there are just swarms of people making demands outside, and then it's very well guarded. There are barricades set up. There's Overwatch. You can see people up on towers nearby. There are heavily armed vehicles and stuff. Oh, by the way, what did you do with the guy who was drunk in the air raft?
Left him in his air raft.
Did you pay him?
I mean, yeah, we'll pay him.
Okay.
Valdes paid him.
I guess he can
Put it into his front pocket while he's asleep.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask him if he can. Well, we should ask maybe the hotel concierge. It's a nice place. He probably knows whether or not there's any runners on this side that can be engaged to take us back.
The concierge says usually we would be able to do that, but with the ongoing quarantine and the conflict zone and the emergency at the starport, no, we don't have the typical transportation we usually have. There are other organizations here, though, that you might be able to speak to that do have direct transportation. But they're not associated with the hotel.
That's fine.
Just really
Are
what we're
these
trying to-
organizations on the up and up?
He looks at you up and down, and he can see that kind of questions if you're on the up and up. And then he's like, well, there are some companies in the control zone that are looking to hire people. So perhaps if you did work for them, maybe they would help you out. There's the meat plant. There's been an issue with Iterate and off-world exports. I'm sure they would be interested in working with free traders. Holds out his hand for a tip.
Wait, so before you're saying that there's people who would help us out to get it back across the river if we did a free trader job for them?
Yeah.
So we'd have to do the job first. What, go off world?
No.
Come back?
They can be like, sure, we'll get you back to the starport safely, but we want we want something too, and then
I
just
see.
money.
Oh, they have. In other words, they want it, but they okay. Okay, that makes sense. I'll flip him 11 credits just to even
Ooh.
out my total.
That's billing me. All right. So to that he says, all right, and he passes you an address for the Warchia Meats Company. It has a picture of like what might be a mix between a cow and a pig's face, but it has like eye stalks.
Oh.
Like imagine Piggly Wiggly, but he's got eye stalks.
I smell speculative cargo, gentlemen.
I smell sausage.
Once again, hand in hand.
The other companies that have offices here, he pushes you another one. Buvas Industries. Sometimes they deal in vehicles, there's a need for manufacturing goods in the sector. So anything that you can bring in or transport out could be a good relationship built there.
And are there facilities, at least for a Type A to land around here and load up on these things, or where are these companies located? Here in the Capital District?
To that, he shrugs. He says, "I know that their offices are here in the Colonial Control Zone, but as far as how they load cargo and do their operations, I'm sorry, but that's not the sort of thing I would know. You'll need to talk to them about that."
All right, well, I appreciate that very much, and that's what is it? Meat?
Warchia Meats.
And then what was the other one?
Buvas Industries.
That's good stuff, my friend. Thank you so much.
Now, a reminder, and also I wanted to mention this. There's wisdom in the back of the book here from Mark Miller. It says that the greatest burden falls on the referee. Blah, 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 has to create a whole universe. Blah, blah, blah. The players themselves have a burden almost as equal to that in this game. They must move, act, and travel in search of their own goals. The typical methods used by 20th century Terrans, such as thrift, dedication, and hard work, will not work here. Instead, they must boldly plan and execute daring schemes of acquisition of wealth and power. I like that. I saw that. I was like, oh man. So, of note, there is a bit of so I know that you're working towards this, but also just wanted to kind of frame this broader thing of at some point you probably won't be able to run away anymore. You'll have to pick a place to dive in and do something risky. So
Well,
I want to always put that is an option on the table with these companies, but I don't
well,
know.
don't forget.
We'll see how they react, though. They may say, "Yeah, we just want you to load some cargo." So,
Well, don't forget, we also are trying to get back to Bowman and Squalia, because we're hoping. I mean, that such a possibility exists out there.
oh sure, I just
Um,
I thought I'd mention it. There's a lot of stuff keeps happening, and we're just trying to keep moving along. But yes,
yeah. Well, I mean, job one remains job one right now.
Indeed.
Get paid.
That's been an adventure in and of itself. I
Yeah.
mentioned that because I also want to remind you all, you can search for a patron once per week, so that is always an option. But a patron is going to be like, yeah, I want you to go do something wild, and you'll get a bunch of money for
Yeah.
it.
We've looked for a patron on a nice planet before and got a terrorist group. I can't imagine what we're going to get here.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, we sort of wrangled ourselves Shipley successfully wrangled another job, or we did another job and Shipley wrangled the recognition for it. So that's nice. But yeah, for now, let's go find.
Yeah,
He
so
said the main building.
yeah, so the main government building has the same issue where it's kind of locked down and heavily secured and everything. Approaching the security the checkpoint, Velez does the same thing where he shows this paperwork signed by the Baron and this causes a bit of this slows things down as these people at the security checkpoint ask you all to stay somewhere nearby, and then they're trying to get someone to make a decision on it. And you find that this puts you out in the open with these crowds for a while as you wait.
Why don't you all go and see what you can find out from these people, what the local picture looks like. I'm interested in particular about these factions, and the Golan. Those
They're
sound
very
pretty interesting
profitable
too.
weapons dealing.
Yeah.
All right. Who?
I'm saying that to the
This is outside the building with all the other locals trying to
Yeah.
work their way in.
Yeah. So I imagine it's like kind of nondescript, painfully brutalist government building that's vertical in character, and outside of it there's this security cordon with the ongoing emergency, and you can even see on nearby buildings that there's even overwatch from other security forces, and then there's like crowds, and some of the crowds are like waiting, some of the crowds are actually trying to get in, and you are put in a similar situation. You can tell, even without talking to anybody, you can hear that there are other agencies that things have kind of ground to a halt because of the crisis that's going on. And so some people are just trying to get to work today, and they seem to be having a problem too.
If there are any groups that are kind of speaking out loud, I might eavesdrop for a bit just to see how much I could glean from that before trying to ask them about it.
Nice. Let's roll on the rumor table. Roll a d8, actually, because I can't find mine.
D8.
Can't find mine.
I got a 7.
A 7. You hear two people. They're just milling as like whatever associated office they work for has been shut down with what's going on, at least for today. And one of them is like, I can't help but to sympathize with those crazy robed religious people outside. They're just they seem like they would do anything to try to help. And then the other person is talking to him. This woman is a man. He's like, yes, but they are also not operating legally, and so if the governor general ever begins to establish control back again past the control zone, I would say that they'll be chased off like squatters.
Huh. Now that's a conflict we could pick a side in. What did they say the title was for the something Governor General?
Yeah, they use the title for like the person in charge here as Governor General. When you're like eavesdropping these two people talking.
Right. I'm gonna say we want to spread out. You said that there are some groups that are waiting and some groups actively trying to get in.
Yeah, some people are kind of making appeals to security guards, and it doesn't seem like it's working. In other cases, you have, like Velez did, someone has presented something like, hey, I have to get in there, and then there's this kind of administrative gridlock where because of the ongoing crisis.
Do we see any attempts at bribery? And are any of those successful if we do? I have a feeling that there's some corruption going on in this world,
Nice.
but I'm not sure.
Not that we would have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
You never know.
Marcello, if you do the same old thing at the risk of finding yourself near a dumpster again, that seems to be the answer sometimes, is where the dumpsters are, because things are loaded and unloaded, and waste is shot out, and supplies are brought in. And that still has to happen today, because people got to eat, and whoever's in there has to do what they got to do. So you can see some land cars and land trucks that are moving supplies, and there's also increased security, and but you can see indications that probably that does go on. In fact, there's probably like organizations that are they get to operate freely. Like, these rules don't apply to them that you see happening with, like, Velez. And these land trucks that seem to be brought in through security despite a crisis, right? That doesn't add up, right? Like, you should lock that down just as well. There's not some sort of desperate need, but hey, this is flowing anyways. You can see on that different company logos, including in places the logo for McClellan Industries.
Good old McClellan. Active everywhere. Well, it looks like some kind of business is still happening despite the ongoing emergency.
Yep, that's right.
And palms are being greased. Just wondering if palms are wide enough for us to grease them. Captain, do you think there's any sense in maybe trying to slip a few credits to some of these checkpoints and see if we can get through?
Well, normally I'd say yes, but we've got this trump card here with the Red Sun people. They got that paperwork signed by the Duke, so
That is true.
if that
That is true.
if that doesn't help us, then we may have to resort to other measures. But it's good to know that things are flexible.
Okay, so is the plan
Money
to
always
wait
talks.
wait
Money
for
always
now?
talks.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's a big objection, I mean, we've come this far through danger already to stand here in this line. I don't want to leave it just yet when people are still checking for us.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
All right. An hour passes. 2 hours
It's Wilson
passes.
all over again.
He's rolling on tables.
2 hours pass.
2 hours passes.
Anybody have any like
Starting
card
to
game,
be-
deck of cards or cigarettes or?
Yeah, speaking of cigarettes, I know Marcello smokes. And so
Yeah, Marcello smokes.
a man in
Feel
a
like
suit...
sharing.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
A man in a suit comes up
Go
to
ahead.
you. You're probably... This is around the time when you're kind of like scouting around the building, looking around. You see where the security is. You're kind of getting a sense of... As you do, the sense of the physical security of this place, where things come and go, how palms could be greased. As you're like nailing down those different kind of lines of communication of how all this stuff works just in this one place, in case you have to use it, someone approaches you, Marcello, and they say, "What a mess, huh?" And they offer you something to smoke. Means they think that you do smoke. It's a cigarette.
I'm sorry, my sound messed up a little bit. I missed the last few seconds.
Someone's approaching Marcello and offering them something to smoke, and notes that this is a mess outside this building.
And I look at him and I reply, I've never waited in a line as long as this in my life. I accept a cigarette.
Shipley kind of coughs about Walston.
Walston.
Place is positively efficient. It's like clockwork compared to that place.
Yeah, but he doesn't necessarily know that. And I pull out a lighter and light his cigarette.
He
What's your business in this line?
he's grateful, and he smokes with you. He breathes it in, looks, and he says, "I'm just trying to think about how we can make things go here in this place? Looks at you, Marcello. He says, "I can tell you're not from this world. You a crew member on a merchant vessel or something?"
A sharp eye, my friend. Matter of fact, we are crew members from a Class A.
Oh,
Don't mind saying it. Right. And we've been plying the stars and eager to do a little bit of trade anywhere we can. That's a fact. I see your eyebrow went up just there.
yeah.
You have an interest?
Yeah, the look of recognition on his face tells you that this must have been a traveler. It's not, in my opinion, in this galaxy, not everyone would just know what a Type A is. Like, if you just said Type A, not everyone's going to know what that is, but a traveler would. Maybe somebody that works at the starport or in starship manufacturing or the military or something like that, but you can already tell that this guy's was a traveler. And he says, "Yeah, I found a business opportunity here on this world, and I decided to settle down." Probably doesn't look like
Here?
much of a place to settle down, I know. But,
That may be the case, but it's understandable to want to get a little land under one's feet after so many years in the stars. How long were you out there? And I can tell you had been out there.
well, you're right. Yeah, I was a traveler for 5 years. But
All up and down this arm.
I observe travelers. Maybe you've seen this too, but there's when you keep moving, they burn bright, they burn hot, and then a traveler will burn right out. At some point, you got to either finish and land on a planet and make it your home, or you get lost out there. Anyways, so you say you're in line.
At this point,
Oh, go
At
ahead.
this point, I take a long drag on my cigarette, and I'm staring at the horizon with like a 1,000-yard stare.
Nice.
How much of your lifespan is spent in hyperspace?
Yeah, in tiny quarters.
Yeah. But okay, yeah. So I do that. And what was he saying?
So you're in line to try to get into this place and do some business with the Control Zone Colonial Authority, huh?
Men are speaking. You could say that.
Complicated business. Complicated business. This whole Colonial Authority business with Iterati. I don't know that this place will ever be free of its woes.
Well, I mean, speaking as a traveler, probably not going to be here very long. Our business is basically to try to get past that gate there, and I point to the gate, and have an audience with the officials inside. We've got some passengers that we were trying to deliver, and their liaison went completely radio black. And until we find them, we're not getting paid before we leave this rock. So I don't know if you've got any insight into how we can get in there.
He smokes. He says, seems to me what it all comes down to right now. He looks over and he can see that you have like all those people in the black smocks, just these, hapless civilians, and he's like, in the end, you just need to get inside those doors. Assuming a paycheck's waiting there. You're
Right.
taking me
Ooh.
back, friend. You're making me think of back when I was a traveler. Well, I tell you what. How about a trade in the spirit of traveling?
Eyebrows go up.
I have some business of my own in there. I don't think they would mind maybe if I brought an entourage. But you have to make me a promise.
And I tilt my head. Promise?
I'm going to give you some information, but I'll do it once we're inside. And then you just pass that information on to your captain.
That's all you want in trade?
That's all I want.
Nothing ominous there. That sounds easy. Just handed the easiest win of our lives. Come on.
Well, I take a drag of my cigarette and blow the smoke out. If that's all it takes for you to get us inside that gate, that doesn't sound like such a hard thing. Passing some information to the captain once we're inside that gate. Is that right?
That's all I want.
All right.
He reaches out, shake your
You
hand.
have my word? Sure. I take it and I shake once. Deal.
He motions for you to like bring your crew, and then he goes up to the loading dock around the back where there's a security checkpoint. They come out. There's a crew that comes out with guns. They point them at him because like they don't want anybody coming back here. They're pretty aggressive, and you see him flash like a badge.
Interesting.
And then there's like some comms chatter back and forth, and then they open the gate, and he motions for y'all to come in.
Right. And while he's been doing that, I talking to the captain and to the crew, letting them know that this opportunity just fell into our laps, at least, and we've got a way in. How do you all feel about it?
Don't mind if I do.
I'm on board.
Yay.
Don't forget you're legally obligated.
Yes. Yes. Well aware. Well aware. All right. Well, I guess we're going to round up our passengers.
Yep.
All right, yeah, you do that, and you
We're gonna be this guy's entourage, quote unquote entourage.
you follow him inside of the building. You go up a lift. There's a big like a promenade type of area, and there are a few people here. And he says, if you want to see what's going on, that right there, that's the that is Colonel Archer, and he is one of the direct deputies to Governor General Tarsus. So, now, for my end of the deal, he hands you a card. It's got some information on it. You could probably put it like into a computer data card type thing. It's got an address, and it says, just says Yukon on it, and then it says 200,000 credits.
What did you say the first word was?
Yukon.
Okay. UCONN.
Yukon.
uh, That's
Wait,
funny.
how did you spell that, Shipley? How did you spell that?
She was talking about
Yes,
University of
like-
Connecticut,
Oh,
Oh, okay.
which is you can like nail down where a person's from and who they've interacted with when you ask them to spell Yukon.
oh okay.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah. So,
Oh yeah, so I take the card. I take the card from him. This is it. This is the information you wanted me to pass to my captain.
that's it. I really
And
wish you
no
the
other
best, Traveler.
obligation beside that.
Oh, we're not about to plant something on our captain that he's not supposed to have.
What was his name, by the way? This guy.
Call me
I don't think
Yukon.
he ever got one.
Call you Yukon?
Yeah.
All right, so I tuck it into my breast pocket. Sure, Yukon. Before we leave the gates of this place, I'll pass it along to my captain for you.
Best of luck out there, Traveler. He turns around, walks away, puts a cigarette out.
I guess we're standing on this promenade. Is that right?
Yeah, got the promenade there, a few random people chatting, and the person that he pointed out who is clearly in an Imperial Army dress uniform, who he called Colonel Archer.
Okay.
Well,
Guys,
Velez.
do go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
Well, that person looks important. Is that the general director or whatever his name was?
Governor General.
Marcello, when he pointed him out, he called him Colonel Archer. He said he was a deputy to the Governor General.
Yeah, Velez, maybe you should have a few words with this guy.
Velez straightens his smock. He's like, yes, I think you're right. I think I should. Velez, you can see him go over, speak to the person. He kind of bows slightly to him, and then they shake hands. They speak back and forth for a moment. It looks like it gets a little heated, a little emphatic from Velez. Velez is a bit of a hot-tempered man, anyways, and then he looks like he has like an expression on his face, and he comes back and he says, well, we can release you your funds, as well as a bonus.
Captain, did you hear that?
I sure did.
A bonus.
20,000 credits.
So that's 180 total?
Out of character, off the top of my head, I can't remember, but I can look it up.
Yeah. I think the going rate for the passengers is 8,000 per jump per person.
Yep.
So that should be 160 for them plus 20 for the bodyguard job.
That sounds good. 180,000. I'll write that down.
Fantastic.
He has this kind of like scowl on his face. Looks like he's distracted, but he's like, they'll have the credits sent over to you right away. I
Is
think
there
that
a problem?
yes, there is quite a problem. We have been on this journey from where did I say they were from? Much farther into the core. I think a long ways too. Well, anyways, from the core, from outside the Spinwood Marches, we've been on this journey for months, accompanying an Imperial Navy convoy. We have this adventure out in District 268, gambling our lives to try to make it here. We arrange passage with you, Captain. And though we are grateful for the service that you rendered us in our time of need, you are well paid for it, in my opinion. And either way, it did seem like we were in quite a bit of danger at points. It seems our services are not needed.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh? What do you mean?
Can I assume, by the way, can we just as an aside out of character to the group, that we all share information that we gather as we go around?
I was gonna say, if not, then I was ready to step in and
Yeah.
maybe say it's one of those rumors that I heard.
Let's say both.
You can say the crew's here. There's no reason the crew.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to. So yeah.
Look, I think the Governor General is going to crack down on this situation pretty soon here. And when they, chase out those nut jobs, you're going to be right there, ready to fill the slot. Just hang tight with your folks, and they're going to need you here. Don't worry.
Nut jobs. You
Ones
mean
with like the orange sun. I mean, it's so tacky. Like, come on, clearly should be a
yes.
red.
I agree. To take the imperial symbol of His Majesty of the throne, and yes, but no. Chapman, you misunderstand me. His Grace has canceled our mission here. We have no authority here either.
What? How's that possible?
Indeed, I'm incensed. As I said, we spent nearly a good portion of a year traveling here, and risked our lives along the way. And His Grace was emphatic that he was eager for the supplies to reach here and for the Red Sun to begin its operations, only to arrive here and to find out definitively, and I have seen it on that datapad by that colonel over there, that we were only a few jumps out from learning that our mission was canceled.
Well, somebody's got to go out and get Isabella.
Isabella. Oh no. What? And he shakes a little almost as he holds his head. He's like, I don't want to. I don't know what to do. The security forces here are already overwhelmed. They no one will help us.
I look around at the crew.
Okay.
Well,
We've already got.
It's only been like
we've got a car.
it's only been like a day, like we can find her.
wait a minute. We don't have.
Do we have a car?
You do not have a car.
Yeah, we
Oh.
don't have a car. That guy took off with his jalopy,
It took off. Okay.
right?
Well done. We need to go. We need to go to one of these other. Oh man.
Yeah, that's so. Like, we have a problem now because we're on foot. Crossing
No.
those 4 kilometers is not going to be easy.
We've got contact information here.
Are you talking about the card?
It says
Or
200,000
who are you
credit.
talking? Right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I passed that. I passed that over to you. Yeah. This is the information that Yukon, gentleman who I talked to, who somehow he got us in past the gates into audience with the colonel. He wanted me to pass this information to you as a trade for that favor. Here you go, Captain. I'm not
I'll
sure
look at
what's on this chip.
Let me put it in my hand, my computer here.
Your hand computer.
Yeah.
This shows you coordinates to a city on this planet to go on, and provides you some security access to a facility and a private landing pad.
Wow.
Captain, let's go.
Well, we need to get our ship first. But also, is there contact information for that guy?
No, it does come across as somewhat cryptic.
Okay.
I get the feeling Yukon's the kind of guy who finds you.
All right. Well, then we need to contact that other. How far back was it? A couple hours drive. How far back was it? Where we left her and her people.
It was about 2.5 or so kilometers on the near side of the bridge, on the northeast side of the bridge.
And it's not too far after, what is it now, midday or something?
Right.
Let's just go.
Just walk.
That's about an hour's walk there
All right.
at a leisurely pace.
You walk out into the city.
I mean, unless anybody else has a better idea, we need to
No,
go and
We're
check on
taking
her.
we're taking Valez with us.
I was
That's
just
up-
gonna say, do we want to offer the Imperial Red Sun to continue hanging out with us, since they're gonna have to make a decision about what their next moves are?
Listen, yeah, yes. I mean, well, I'm just gonna. For now, let's just see whether or not they feel like coming with us to go check on Isabella.
Velez turns to his two companions and he says, Yemis, Trelton, I insist that you stay here. Find a hotel. We will we'll make our next plans later. I'm going to stay with the crew of the Lady of Mercia. And I will find Isabella, Zoe, and Gus. And the other two, they agree to this. They're like, because I mean, they're kind of useless anyways. But like they're not like soldiers or something, to where they could do something like this. So they agree to stay here, and Velez accompanies you.
Excellent.
Okay, so I don't know if y'all have ever had this experience where you're in a really, really bad place, but it's a beautiful day. But other than the like smog and the distant gunshot echoing every once in a while, it's actually a nice day outside. And you walk. At this point, the streets are cleared up. That migration of people during the crisis has already moved on. They found nothing of use at the streets. There are some of these shanties from the Church of Stellar Divinity with this dark orange sunburst on them in places. They also look either vacant or closed. Simple, flat, just flaps of what do you call it, like tarps and things have been pulled over them in parts, and others look like they may have been abandoned. But anyways, it doesn't look like there are a bunch of people out and about. And when you make it back to the bridge, no one's there.
Wow.
Now, nearby in the districts out here are people living their lives, businesses. Let me see what is nearby here. As I mentioned before, there are a lot of old park spaces and arts districts that look like they have fallen to either urban decay or outright destruction. And you can see that on the near side of the bridge. What looks like signs for a business that once gave, what are they called? Gyrocopters? What are the gyrocraft?
Gyrocopter.
The skill in Traveler. There's
Oh.
what is it called? Gyrocraft, I think. Anyways,
Airplane, auto gyro.
Yeah, not helicopters. I think they are gyrocraft.
Ornithopter.
But anyways, there's a business and the sign is like falling off to the side and it's overgrown with like some of the local plant life and it like offers free like gyrocopter rides for families and stuff, and you can see the sign faded, and that's what you can kind of see to your right, and you see a coffee shop that's boarded up on the other side of the interchange on the bridge here. There's traffic on the bridge coming and going. And then there's an abandoned park space that's overgrown to your left.
Quick question. How far are we from the hotel that we got the night before?
Well, that hotel was in the Parliament District and the control zone.
Gotcha.
So on the near side of the bridge, or the southwest side of the bridge.
Wonder if we might want to
you
split
forget-
up. Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say
Split up?
if we
Why?
wanted to split up and look around for Isabella and then reconvene. I guess here at the bridge might be the best spot.
I don't think splitting up's a great idea.
We can be in big
You-
groups.
Ross, you described this place as being kind of abandoned and boarded up and so on. Are there crowds around, or is it just just a few people or nobody?
Yeah, it looks like that crowd that was here last night, they were displaced. Like they were pushed out, like into the streets and under the bridge, and they've since dispersed. Yeah, no, it's eerily vacant and quiet, other than the traffic on the roads from the ground cars that are coming and going sometimes.
On the bridge, can I look and see if there's any concentration of people anywhere? Is there
Sure.
any kind of soup kitchen or some sort of little cafe or some sort of
Yeah.
people?
When you look further ahead, you can see another like kind of park space past the interchange. This one actually looks like it's still in good order, and you see a kind of a semicircle of other brutalist government buildings, and you can even
I
see
love
more of
brutalist
the
buildings.
yeah, you can see more of the security guards and stuff out front that's well guarded, and nearby that there are little kind of feeder businesses, including cafes and restaurants and stuff like that, but probably make money off of the government employees.
Do you want to go over there and see if we can find somebody who knows anything about Isabel's group?
The other option, just to mention what else is around here, is there's also a dock, because you're on this like polluted, nasty river, and there are boats in the dock, and there's an old ramshackle bar and restaurant there at the dock, and there is a little kind of corporate type emergency medical care place, like I'd imagine, like I'd call it like an urgent care, like a for-profit medical option that's nearby that place. And then if you go, so this is to the right, and straight ahead past the interchange is those government buildings, and then to the left there's parks, this waste of park space, then tangles, almost like a wilderness. Among it to the left is a abandoned, half destroyed monument to, and you can tell that it celebrates the exploits of the security forces of the control zone.
I love it.
It's as good a place to start as any.
Which one? The
Which way?
cafes? near
Which
the
way,
government
Captain?
buildings?
The cafe, I think.
All right. All right.
Does the path to the cafe take us past that monument?
It's kind of like, so you're crossing this bridge, that monument's to the left down below into that wild park space, and you're continuing past this interchange toward the government building straight ahead. So it's kind of like to your left down below.
Okay. If I peer down at it, can I see, is there like a date visible? Like
Nice.
celebrating some kind of
Absolutely.
war or something?
Let me tell you. Let me tell you the date. Some lore. You see that it looks like it celebrates the imperial victory over this world. And
wow.
and it's I'm wondering if it was even the third Imperium at the time is what's really curious to me. So I'm just taking a quick look at that. Yes. Okay.
Sure.
I'm realizing now that the third Imperium has
Third
been around
Imperium's
for
been
a
around.
long time.
Yeah, 1105 years or
Yeah.
15 years to be
Yeah.
precise.
1114. Yeah. So this celebrates their victory over the old hated enemies way back in the Third Frontier War. So there have been 5 Frontier Wars. You're a veteran of the 5th Frontier War. It's possible that Bellamy served on merchant cruisers and stuff at the tail end of the 4th Frontier War, because those were not separated that far by date, if I recall correctly. Like 20 years or something, 15, something like that. But the Third Frontier War took place in 1000 of like the Imperial Reckoning, the Imperial Year System. And this dates back to towards the end of the Third Frontier War, where they celebrated what they claim was a major victory against the Zidani here. And around that time, the Imperial heroes of Edoratai claimed this world, and it has remained a colony of Edoratai ever since 983. So that would have been... Oh, actually, that was not that long ago. My math's messed up. That was just 100... Let's see, like 120... 130 years ago.
Okay. I mean, that's long enough.
Yeah.
I wasn't around then.
Hold up for a minute. This celebrated the victory of the Imperium over the Zodani forces on this
primarily the local like enemy of the Imperium, which was like the local the natives of this world, which were aligned with the Zodani at the time.
Okay. I'm just wondering if there's still any Zodani maybe left on this planet somewhere.
Well, I feel like what is it? The Sword Worlds are kind of like still sort of part of Zodani. They're within that sphere. Like we're all like on the border and tangled up with all of that stuff. I was under the
Sword
impression
worlds
that
are their own whole different thing.
Well, but I think what he's saying is, you guys are right on like the border of all this stuff. Like you're like the Zodani are right there, the Sword Worlds, the Darians. It's all you're right here. It's called the Imperial Fringe. You're out here on the border.
Cool. Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, I loves me a nice monument.
All right. Okay,
But
so
Yeah.
I imagine we're gonna keep going.
okay, so you go to it has a painfully bland name. The government buildings out here all have alphanumeric designations in Anglic, I think it's called. Like it's just like
Yeah.
R7T and R7T Alpha 1. And the the coffee shop is simply called R7T Alpha 2 dash coffee. It's clear that it's privately
That
owned.
rules.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that rolls right off the tongue. Very nice.
and it looks privately owned, but and it's in a separate building. But yeah, there you can see people in Imperial uniforms in here, like having a coffee break.
Shipley, do you want to
Yeah.
approach any of these folks and see if you get information about what's her name? Isabella or Isabel?
Yeah, Isabella.
Yeah, Isabella. Yeah.
Bella.
All let's see, do they look like they're pretty focused on their drinks, or are they kind of more open chatting atmosphere?
It's a sort of open chatting atmosphere. Yeah, people at different tables sitting and chatting.
Okay, I guess I'll just try walking up to someone and ask if they've seen, looking for a friend, who's an Imperial aid worker, and I was wondering if they heard anything, yesterday about her.
They look at each other for a moment and they're like, hello, aid workers. That's very strange. You mean one of those Church of the Sun or whatever they're called?
Well, no, my friend isn't affiliated with them. She just is trying to do good in her own way. But I'm afraid we lost her in the crowd the other day, and I was worried about her, so I came back to see if we could find her.
The other person.
I thought we were going to meet up later, but she never showed.
The other person.
And I kind of give him
sorry.
a description of her.
Okay, yeah. They say, oh no, you mean the crowd last night with what happened last night?
Did something happen? I didn't hear.
Well, the starport came under attack, and several of checkpoints. It was. They even burned down some government buildings and some military and police checkpoints. They claimed it was almost an insurrection, that the rebels had hoped to even overthrow the ICZ control zone authority for good. Well,
oh no, I really hope she wasn't caught up in that.
I would be concerned about that as well. If you believe your friend was in those crowds, some people were killed last night. And besides that, a lot of others were taken.
Arrested?
A lot of people were arrested last night. But no, I mean, there were opportunists. It seemed like maybe the Huffington, the representatives, the rebels, that they had coordinated some of their work with the Free League, and it looks like some of the Free League, those petty warlords, they took people and dragged them out of the control zone.
Kidnapped?
Yes.
What for?
Well, sometimes Free
ransom?
League, yeah, sometimes Free League warlords will try to establish a ransom. Sometimes they'll press them into service as slaves or as a press gang, and that's how they replenish their numbers. Last night was one of the worst nights that this world has faced, and well, as long as anyone remembers.
How did we sleep through that?
I know, right? Well, we were in the green zone, so.
The uprising
okay.
of 086. 11:14.
We were oblivious.
Well, I mean, you drove through it and you fought in it.
That's true. I'm not going to mention that.
So who would we go to find out what happened?
You could try the local police. There is a police station there. They could search their databanks and see. there are a lot of people that are checking on people that they care about right now.
Well, all out of character. We've only got a few minutes left, so shall we head over there real
Yeah.
quick and at least ask the question?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
All right. You head to the police station, and you can tell that have been a lot of people like asking, and you have the typical thing where people are leaving notes and leaving places and or leaving things in places to, like, if you see this person, and that kind of stuff is everywhere.
I was gonna say, yeah.
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 And there's a crowd here, but you're able to find out essentially that there is a very good chance that she was taken because there was a crowd of people around that time and in that location that was loaded up by what, as far as the police, they're not sure who. Press gangers, slavers, kidnappers, but people were taken, and it was from that location and at that time.
Do these types of people ever make it off-world, or do they just use them for whatever here?
They use them here, and it's in a place out in the wild, in the wilderness, called the Free League, where there are bandit and pirate kingdoms and gutter trash and scrappers from when this world was better off long ago, trying to survive off the scraps in the wasteland.
What direction is the Free League over the borders of this city?
Let me take a look. The ICZ exists on a coastal area. Let me look at the planet real fast. I know. Let's see here. So the ICZ is kind of close, somewhat close to the coast, by about maybe 100 miles or so, which doesn't, it sounds like far away, but there's a sort of mega continent kind of thing here. And then the Golan is a coastal city. You immediately get the impression that Golan is a kind of like alternate trade hub / Sin City / free trade zone kind of deal. And then if you go into the megacontinent, you enter this like wasteland. And that whole big area is the Free League. Now, the police have all sorts of different leads and ideas about things going on in the Free League. So you could get involved, but that is where we'll end the adventure for the night. Mythic Traveler is a space western merchant classic traveler campaign in the Mythic Mountains RPG Play Club. The music's by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech and Greg Gibson with Timberzeel. Classic Traveler is one of the first tabletop role-playing games, and the first sprawling space simulator game ever created by Mark Miller and Games Designer Workshop. You can find the free facsimile rules of Classic Traveler by Far Future Enterprises in the description. Mythic Mountains RPG is an online play club that focuses on folk RPGs. Those are the RPGs that aren't run or controlled by some huge corporation, and they don't have some set way to play and ain't nobody can tell you how you can play them. We play them however is the right way, and that's the way we want to do it. The table is the authority. We upload our games weekly on YouTube for everyone to enjoy and sit in without performances, fancy equipment, or monetization. It's just a group of people playing folk RPGs our way. You're welcome to join us, but until then, be safe out there between jumps.